How can a cosmic boundary grow if nobody built a wall at the edge of the universe? In the energy filament theory, the boundary is not a drawn sphere. It is the natural place where an overflowing energy sea becomes too loose to keep the propagation relay alive. Go back to the overflow origin picture. After a mother black hole quietly loses its seal, energy spreads like thick soup from a deep valley, forming a finite three-dimensional lump of energy sea. Finite means it must have an edge layer. The interior can become statistically uniform, yet the outer regions are inevitably thinner and looser, simply because a lump that spreads out has a gradient. Towards the rim, the sea has less stuff per volume, and tension relaxes first. Structure formation pushes the same way. As particles, stars, and black holes form, more tension gets locked into stable hierarchies, and the freely mixing, fast exchange part of the sea shrinks. The outer layers, already thin, are the first to become slack. As long as you are inside one continuous sea condition, light, force, and information travel by relay. One patched hands a beat to the next. But the farther out you go, the harder the handoff becomes. Picture sound again. Sound needs air molecules to pass vibrations along. If the air gets thin enough, the sound does not hit a wall and bounce. It simply can't propagate, so it fades. The cosmic boundary is the same kind of threshold. The sea becomes loose enough that the relay turns intermittent, then fails. That is why the boundary behaves like a forced desert. You can still write the tendency of gravity as a landscape and electromagnetism as texture, but the influence can't carry far and can't keep pushing over long distances, because the media can no longer pass the response onward. This also answers, where does the overflow stop? It stops where relay becomes unreliable. The sea can spread outward only until it reaches the ring where handoff stutters. That ring is the boundary. It is not a reflective wall. It is not a swallowing curtain. It is the place where you stop being able to transmit disturbances, force, and information over long ranges. Wave packets that cross into it don't rebound. They lose coherence and dissipate into local short-range jitters. That's why the question, what is outside, becomes physically secondary first. Once the chain is broken, even if something exists beyond, it can't easily send influences back through a failed relay. Just inside the boundary, you should also expect a thick transition belt. Here the relay isn't fully broken yet, but it's loose enough that stable particles struggle to hold their patterns. Filaments might occasionally close into rings, but the circulation can't stay dynamically self-consistent for long. Patterns unravel back into the sea. Imported atoms or even wandering objects would gradually be taken apart, stepping down from complex structures into simpler filament states as they move outward. Deeper in, the sea enters a window where particles can self-stabilize. But the window still has layers, a non-habitable belt, where particles and even stars can exist, but complex chemistry and long-lived stability are hard to accumulate, and a habitable belt where tension is moderate enough for atoms and molecules to keep phase-locking over long times, allowing long-lived stars and complex life. So the order is simple: habitable belt, non-habitable belt, transition belt, boundary. Now the last key point: the boundary does not need to be a perfect sphere. Because it is not a geometric rule, it is an equal threshold surface of sea conditions. Overflow doesn't have to be perfectly symmetric. Early weak spots in the critical skin leak more. Later, the cosmic web texture redistributes energy. Black holes and structures lock tension in different regions, and the rim relaxes unevenly. The result is coastline logic, not circle logic. Bulges, bays, thicker transitions, belts in some directions, thinner in others. And the boundary is not fixed. As the whole sea keeps relaxing, the relay threshold can drift inward over time. This universe is not a static sheet of geometry. It is a finite energy body with a changing sea state and a moving edge. Next episode we make it observational. If the boundary is a relay threshold, what signatures should appear in lensings, background patterns, and the statistics of structure as you approach the rim? Without requiring us to ever visit it, tap follow, share it on New Physics, Clear Universe.